Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast. Now, of course, usually we'd start with AEW stuff. This is a Thursday. It's the AEW Dynamite review show. But, I mean, there's been so much news, unexpected news. We've got to lead with the big one. Christian Cage has turned heel.
It's genuinely the most shocking thing to happen in wrestling in the last 24 hours.
Get this! On Jungle Boy!
What?
I know!
Unbelievable.
They turned on his kid.
No one ever saw this coming.
My God!
It's such a shock turn.
Right, so, please, thumbs up, subscribe, leave us a comment down below, and send in your Omegachats to WrestleTalk.com/support if you do want to hear about the actual stuff. We've made so many videos already on it today.
So much news.
So go over to the main WrestleTalk channel after this. There's already a video up there. There's another one going live as soon as we've done this.
Yep.
It's just me and Pete in the office today. We're going to talk about AEW.
I'm so tired.
And then, if people have asked questions in the chats, we'll get to those at the end. Okay?
Yeah.
Christ alive, I'm so tired.
AEW first, though.
Hey, but what an episode.
It was a great episode. I enjoyed it a lot.
Road Rager.
And I think my favourite thing on the show was this main event.
Okay, well, take us through it.
I loved this main event because this
Incredible.
was Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Titles ladder match, Road Rager main event. Rightfully so, the main event, I think. This was amazing. Yeah. And this was a Young Bucks match where you have all the pace in the world against Jurassic Express, who have all the pace in the world. And it was like, they did not stop. As soon as they started, it was massive spot, massive spot, massive spot, massive spot. And they had some absolutely brilliant stuff in this match. There were so many dives and flips and table bumps and being chokeslammed onto ladders. And, oh my God, like Matt Jackson doing his Northern Lights suplexes, flippy-doos, and doing the third one onto a ladder on Jungle Boy. It was brilliant. Start to finish, and they did not slow down the entire time.
So some matches feel like songs. I always talk about Mike Awesome versus Tatanka. I can't remember. In ECW One Night Stand, it's like a punk song. It's like a perfect under 2 minute punk song. This was very percussive. It felt like bang, because there was a bit where people were just going through tables at a clip of like every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And there's this rhythm to the match that goes beyond a normal simulated piece of combat. It enters the realm into something like a fight scene in Raid.
Yeah.
Where it does, there's an element of musicality to it. Sort of a musical number. It was an incredible match. Like you said, Young Bucks, they come with all the pace and these crazy moves, and Jurassic Express can match them for the speed and particularly with Jungle Boy, the athleticism.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff in here, just right out of the gate, Jungle Boy hits a springboard Hurricane Rana off the top rope onto the ladder outside. So by the end, Nick Jackson, I think he busted his nose, right? His whole face is covered with blood.
Yeah.
So he's holding the tag title aloft at the end. It's crazy to say this is one of the best matches, again, in Dynamite history. Not my match of the night. I actually preferred Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay.
That's totally fair. Because that was amazing.
Like, just for me, that was better, but I can't deny it, objectively. It's one of the best matches.
It was so much fun. I couldn't write down all the spots. I couldn't keep up with the pace they were having. My first note is just, this match is effing ridiculous. There was a brilliant sequence, I thought, where Jungle Boy Luchasaurus did an assisted Hurricane Rana with Jungle Boy over the ropes to the outside and flipped one of the Bucks through a table. Then they tried to do the same thing to the other Young Buck on the other side, who caught him and then powerbombed him through a table on the outside. I was like, that is just brilliant. You have the expectation that they're going to have both spots at the same time, and then he just subverts this. Nope, straight through a table. I loved it. What a brilliant spot. And it all culminated towards the end where Bucks had set up 4 tables, so 2 on 2 on the outside. You go, oh boy, someone's going off a ladder through those tables, and it was Luchasaurus that did that. Yeah,
the biggest guy.
Yeah. The biggest guy went through it.
Well, I guess that Bubba took that spot in TLC.
Absolutely, yeah. It was great, and I love that they took Luchasaurus out, and as soon as they did that spot, you go, Luchasaurus is out for the rest of this match, and everyone was under the understanding he's out now, and it was just the Bucks turning to Jungle Boy, who was still in the ring, and it was like, well, here we go. And he got this big hope spot of him fighting back. I was like, come on, Jungle Boy, this is so good. But of course, they pretty quickly outnumbered him, outmuscled him, and, huge BTE trigger, and they managed to get the win. Was amazing. Such a fun match, and I think the right team won. I think it was about time Bucks became champions, because I think they're going to drop it to FTR down the line.
Yeah, and they've been building that story in the background really well as well. So the Jurassic Express story, I would say, for most of their pay-per-view big match title defenses is, it's Luchasaurus is taken out near the end, but Jungle Boy has been able to fight back. He did that against Red Dragon, didn't he? Revolution, I believe. But this was the time that it failed him. Looking back, before we get into the Christian heel turn, Jurassic Express tag title reign. It
had some really great matches in it, but
I couldn't tell you a single feud or story.
Felt completely secondary to a lot of other stuff happening, which is really unfortunate.
So it kind of like SCU as the first championship team.
Yeah,
they're kind of forgotten about. I couldn't tell you like any amazing storylines they had. There's always great wrestling in AEW.
Always.
There's always great matches. But yeah, who are the other? Lucha Bros? Couldn't tell you really anything of note they did besides the great match where they won it.
Yeah.
FTR, they never really had that classic feud. Just a few great matches. It's just them and the Bucks. But the Bucks, when they're champions, the tag division seems to be pushed more to the forefront of the company.
Yeah. So I'm hoping now we can get a bit more focus on the tag division with, I'm hoping, the ascent of FTR to becoming those champions, and then FTR can continue the tag division being great afterwards. Fingers crossed.
Good sort of anything you can do, I can do better as well, because the Bucks have just become the first ever 2-time tag team champions.
Yeah.
Then if FTR were to win it off them, they'd also be 2-time champions. I suppose going forward, obviously we're going to spin out into Jungle Boy versus Christian. What next for the Bucks? We've got FTR long term, but are we going to have a title defense at Forbidden Door? Is there a New Japan team they can face?
I'm sure they can just throw some fun thing together.
I mean, that's what they've done everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well, right? I mean, the thing is, you can have a few different tag teams in AEW go up against the Bucks. That will be quite kind of fun. It doesn't necessarily have to be a title match, but throw some fun matches like, Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. Just stick them together and have them go against the Bucks for a bit. There's a load of fun teams in AEW where you can have a bunch of fun matches before we get to the real meat of being like, and now it's FTR and the Bucks go, oh, balls.
Well, I need that Blackpool Combat Club match.
Yeah, man. That'll be fun.
That's, for me, the number one team. I think FTR are ranked number one.
Yes.
But for me, Blackpool Combat Club is the biggest star. Like, if you think star power match, Moxley, Danielson versus the Young Bucks. If ever a tag title match could main event a pay-per-view for AEW, that's the one.
Yeah.
And that was always the Bucks' aim. So I would like that, please.
Especially if Moxley is the interim champion as well, then even more reason why it could main event a pay-per-view, because there won't be a huge world title match to go on as well.
This isn't WWE, Pete. Stop trying to put all the belts in one program.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying if we're having the tag title match. But then we'll have them post-match.
Just before that.
Sure.
A report came out today, which we have not even been able to discuss in the office or on a video.
Yeah.
The original plan was for the Hardys to win this match.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm so glad the Hardys weren't in it at all, because I could not enjoy the hardcore spots if I saw Jeff and Matt fumbling their way through them.
Yeah.
It takes me out of it. I'm too worried about their physical health.
Exactly. I 100% agree. That's why I didn't really enjoy their Double or Nothing match, because Jeff seemingly got his bell rung or something in the early stages of the match, and it was just a bit slow-paced and didn't really enjoy it for the rest of it.
And Hardys as champions,
I'm not into it.
Like, that has to be a month maximum reign.
Yeah. Like, you could... If you want the nostalgia pop of being like, whoa, they won titles, sure, but I don't think that's enough of a reason. Like, these nostalgia runs, I feel like AEW's done pretty well in having the older generation ever be managers to a younger generation or put the younger generation over. If you want the last run of the Hardys, you just need to have the dream matches. You don't need to put the titles on them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I'm very glad they're not champions, even without all the Jeff arrest stuff. I think
100%.
it would have been a bad look for the company.
I agree.
All those people who criticize them for ex-WWE guys getting pushes. Nah. Speaking of, Christian.
Great segue.
Christian initially helped Jungle Boy out the ring, and he did such a goddamn good job. And they've teased this so many times. I was like, they did the tag title change. Maybe not this week. But then Christian turned heel, hitting an unprettier or a kill switch on Jungle Boy. And then, with Jungle Boy's mother and sister in the crowd, Concerto.
I liked this a lot. Honestly.
Really good.
I mean, we knew it was coming for ages. We've said since, like, Full Gear last year. We were like... I love that all of this came where everyone was like, Christian's definitely turning on him. Because when Jungle Boy pinned, I think it was Adam Cole, whoever he pinned in that match, Christian was crouching behind him. And everyone goes, heel turn.
Yeah.
Like, we saw it coming a mile away just from that. But they finally pulled the trigger on it. And I like that he looks almost like a little bit, almost like deranged. Like he had really like wide eyes when he was doing it. And in the post-show afterwards, I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, no, I haven't.
In the post-show afterwards, he starts mouthing off to Jungle Boy's mum and his sister in the crowd. And he says, he's a piece of S. You raised a piece of S. And then just walks off. I was like, it's pretty good.
Disappointed daddy Christian. I'm really excited for Christian now. I liked his initial sort of babyface run, pre-becoming this manager type.
Yeah,
I love that Kenny Omega match on the first episode of Rampage. I think it was.
Yeah, Kenny and Christian. Yeah.
But this is the most actually excited I've been about him since he joined AEW.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm well looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a really good feud for both of them, and I'm hoping that Jungle Boy comes out looking great at the end of it, because I think as great as he is with Luchasaurus, I think he's a superstar, a super single star in waiting.
It does pose the question though, what happens to Luchasaurus in all this?
Don't know.
Like, I imagine he'll be used as a bit of not fodder. Yeah, fodder, really.
Yeah.
Maybe Christian will have a match with him, beat up him first, or at least attack him. That builds the Jungle Boy revenge story.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also, like, Jungle Boy, how will he be post-Christian feud? I guess we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. It's just, I think the Wardlow experience has shown sometimes people are good because they're with the right people. And when they're not with the right people, something feels missing.
Yeah.
And Jungle Boy has been expertly packaged because he's got the music, he's got the hair, he's got Luchasaurus, he's now got Christian, he had Marco Stunt. If the aim is to build Jungle Boy as a singles, I mean, you got to build new guys, but
yeah. I don't.
My
think
bet
that...
would be it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, maybe if he comes out of the Christian feud, he'll be Jungle Man, and then he'll be a new refined character that's a bit more. Maybe he'll have some stubble or something, and he'll be like, "Yeah,
I can't argue
Jungle
with that.
Man.
I can't
He'll
argue
be great."
with that. Let's see what you all think in the Omega chats. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get in your chats down there, please. Mr. Cider, not going to lie, if you did not see that heel turn coming, I don't know what to say. Do you want to explain your sarcastic thumbnail?
So the thumbnail was very sarcastic because everyone saw this heel turn coming. That's the joke. Sorry.
I think you need an emoji.
Need an emoji.
Otherwise,
a shocked face emoji.
No, you need the emoji like, I don't know, is there a sarcastic face emoji?
I don't know. I don't emoji too hard.
Cider continues. Also, the Tanahashi-Moxley segment did not need the JAS interference. It blemished Tanahashi a bit, as it looked like he's a stepping stone for Sami and Tay introduction.
I kind of agree. Not 100%, but I do agree that JS did not need to be part of that segment.
Yeah. Well, we can get onto that later. Yeah. Kevin, out of all the news that came out yesterday, I was absolutely not expecting that the biggest story of the week is Christian turning on Jungle Boy. What? However, I was pleasantly surprised at the Sami reveal. We don't like you anymore, Sami. Be a heel.
Sure. I'm glad you liked it.
So, the Christian heel turn. I would say most of the chats about the Christian heel turn is about other storylines in the company.
Yeah. Unfortunate that.
Bodes well. I mean, it's good. It's good. Buzzkill finally. Christian actually solidified his heel turn, not by attacking Jungle Boy, but by telling Jungle Boy's mum that she raised a piece of S-word. On another note, I will be in England for the next 3 weeks, so which indies should I go and watch? I've not really dabbled with indie wrestling post-pandemic.
Me neither.
But always Eve is a good time.
Eve's great.
Rev Pro is one of the main ones. Obviously Progress. Those are all our London ones.
Yeah. ICW's in Scotland, isn't it? And yeah, I think you listed most of the ones we know.
We'll do a few AEW general chats before we get into the full play-by-play. Hannah Allen, AEW humped. Is that a good thing?
That's a Sean Ross Sappism, that one.
Oh. Is it still a good thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Regal awkwardly hitting on Excalibur. This is what it can feel like, guys, lol. The Ospreay versus Dax match killed, and then the confrontation after the bell. Sami back in JAS. Well, he was never technically in JAS. Looking forward to the Switchblade versus whomever. Brackets Omega stuff. Lots of love, WrestleTalk. Jam that jam.
He's not going to be facing Omega.
We'll come on to that.
Okay.
Ket, a women's match on the pay-per-view. Hell yes. Looking forward to Rosa versus Storm. Form a tag team and call them Thunderstorm. That is too good to not happen, unfortunately. RK Bro.
Like, it is very good. Oh, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. Thunderstorm.
Because what we're missing is another set of belts. Women's tags.
Yep, that's what we need.
Also, every day we stray away from that MJF ramp promo and having no follow-up on it.
I don't think we need follow-up on it immediately. I feel like it gets better with time. In the amount of time that passes, it will feel bigger when he comes back later.
Yeah.
The more the time that's passed.
Yeah.
Because that was the mistake with CM Punk. After he took the title and left, he came back 8 days later to Raw, and it was like, what?
If you're trying to work the, quote, smartest fans, you have to treat it like MJF has left the company. And if that was the case, you would not reference it on air. You wouldn't show video recaps. Because that tells us, oh, well, it's a storyline.
It's a story.
So exactly. Riot DR, hey, yo. This main event was exactly what it needed to be. Nick Jackson and Jungle Boy have ridiculous balance. Yeah, I don't know what the record is for most tables broken with one person in a match, but they tried to set it with 6. 5.5 tables. Mark, tinfoil hat time. After the last Blood and Guts, Jericho will want a big moment that will be more memorable than his bad fall last time. I now truly believe this hair versus hair result is a swerve, and Jericho will forcibly have his head shaved in/after the Blood and Guts match.
That is a really good theory. I'm on board with that, because I fully thought that Jericho was going to lose this match. I thought that he would have had to have his head shaved, because I feel like that's the kind of thing that Jericho would do. I feel like it's about time. You can see Jericho.
It's about time.
Yeah,
we've been building up to.
We've been building up to this. So yeah, I still don't think we're necessarily past Jericho potentially losing his hair. That's a good shout.
Bacon Rasher. Hi lads. I willy like Dynamite this week. Our boy Ospreay won, and what a match. Great match. Both had a great reaction, and the Rev Pro title was mentioned. Love that. Yeah, the British heavyweight. AEW got to be coming to us in the UK soon, right? P.S. Don't look right. Pete needs a title shot.
I do. I need my belt back.
Yeah. Hopefully, the whole All-Atlantic thing seems geared towards the UK stuff.
You think so, right? I did think it was weird that Ospreay came up with the Rev Pro title and not the New Japan US title, considering Forbidden Door, you know?
Yeah, he really loves that belt. Kevin, we'll do 3 more. Overall, a really good episode of Dynamite. Ortiz had a great showing. Dax versus Will was match of the night. I agree. Storm versus Baker was good. However, the Jericho Tanner Mox segment was a bit messy, and the trios match at Forbidden is a weird one in my opinion, but it'll be fun for sure. I mean, it was messy, but if I'm looking at this episode and what didn't work, it's Wardlow's World.
I'd say that both of them didn't work.
Yeah, but one was terrible.
Yeah, one wasn't good. Yeah.
Mark Egan. I'd love for Proud and Powerful. I forgot they used to be called that.
They are still called that. It's on the title
whatever. To get out of the Eddie JAS feud so they can finally feud with FTR for the tag team belts. It's going to be a great story to tell.
Santana and Ortiz left the Inner Circle because Jericho was holding them down. And since then, they feuded with Jericho.
He's still holding them down. And finally, for now, Riot DR. That is how you use Will Ospreay. This is the wrestling that sizzles my bacon. Dax is on the roll of his career. Give him and Cash all the tag titles, all companies they can work in, get those belts, and can we get an Orange Cassidy return? I mean...
Can we get one?
We got one.
We got one on the show.
I'm confused. Yeah. Right, dear.
You seen what's happening at Forbidden Door?
Mm-hmm. Well, they did only very briefly mention it. So we'll get into all this. So the show kicked off. Please keep getting your chats into WrestleTalk.com/support. This was the Road Rager special. And it really did feel like one of the big special episodes of AEW. All those gimmick matches, all the debuts, returns.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Totally. I really like that they have these TV specials because it really breaks up the flow between pay-per-views because they only have 4 per year. It's great. Like it.
I tell you what, it almost felt like pre-Punk.
Okay.
You know that crazy run of shows they had first 6 months of 2021? I mean, all of that was still in lockdown.
Yeah.
And then Punk came in August.
Yeah.
Which has slightly changed the...
So you're saying that AEW's great and on a really good run right now?
My problem was Punk. No, of course not. So we started with Jericho versus Ortiz and a hair versus hair match. Fantastic match.
Really good.
Loads of booking, like the perfect amount of over-the-top interference. Yeah, great schmoz.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston gets in the ring behind the referee's back at one point. She's distracted with the schmoz outside. He hits his back fist on Jericho because F you, Jericho. I don't care. That's like, Eddie's such a babyface. He can be all the heel and still get cheered.
Yeah.
And Jericho kicks out of it. What a nearful.
Oh, I bought that hook, line, and sinker. I watched that, even though I did actually know the result of the match before I watched it. I still bought that as an earful because it was so good.
Yeah, Blackpool Combat Club, well, like Wheeler Yuta, and
Roppongi Vice it was as well.
Roppongi Vice and Santana came down.
No, it wasn't Roppongi Vice. That was later. My bad.
Santana came down, which I was like, why weren't you there from the start? Eddie was there from the start.
Yeah, because Eddie's the cool one.
But it was so much fun. It sort of got over it. Anyway, the actual finish came when Fuego del Sol ran into the ring to get, sort of a one-up on the Eddie Kingston interference. Stopped Ortiz winning. Jericho won. Did you think it was the actual Fuego del Sol?
I also knew this before I watched the match.
Yeah. But it looked like him.
Yeah, no, totally did. Yeah, like the face shape looks like Fuego. Yeah.
And he takes off his mask, and it's Sammy Guevara with his eating grin.
Yeah.
Between Hager and Jericho, this feels right. It feels like something that should have been in place at the start of the JAS formation, but Guevara was trying out every version of the heel face dynamic possible.
I know I'm probably in the minority, but I'm not really keen on JAS.
Okay.
I'm kind of done with Jericho, honestly, as a whole. Not really super keen on Sammy Guevara either. So I'm just like, sure. I'm sure people will like it, and that's fine. If people like it, full steam ahead. It's just not for me.
But Jake Hager?
He's fine.
Oh my God. Whatever, it worked. Though, bottom line, because the crowd went nuclear when Sammy revealed himself. So that is, great, because it felt like they were trying to make him a babyface again, and they are very wisely, but surprised, uncharacteristically, reluctantly, finally got that.
Yeah, he's now definitely a heel, which is good.
Right, next up we got by far the worst thing on the show.
This was not good.
And unfortunately, it's, like every week since the MJF story is concluded, Wardlow's stuff is not working. This was him versus 20 security guards in an elimination match that nobody knew the rules for.
That was weird.
We got a fun sort of People's Court video package beforehand.
That was good.
Which was good. But it is overtly comedy stuff for Wardlow.
Yep.
Like, it was good, but is it optimal?
Mm-hmm.
I would argue not. And then, Wardlow's in the middle of the ring. 20 security guards line the apron. Wardlow knocks off one whole side of them. Dasha Fuentes misunderstood something. I don't know what, because they weren't even thrown over a top rope. And she said, security guards number 1 have been eliminated.
Yep.
And I thought this was pinfalls or submissions.
Wait, how are people being eliminated? That was one of my notes.
So that took the crowd out of it because
they were like confused. They're like, wait, what? What's the rules?
And if those are the rules, those are lame rules.
Yes. And
then Wardlow proceeded to beat everyone up, sort of one by one, which,
sort of.
You expect from this sort of thing. I'm not going to do that down, but I didn't like he powerbombed everyone, and then he would take groups of 4 to 6 people, pile them on top of each other, and pin them all in a pile. It got repetitive for me, because he did it about 3-4 times, and the crowd got disinterested, audibly disinterested, and also they're not legal pins.
No. It's not very good. I would have thought that this kind of thing, I think 20 is too many people, for starters, because anything you do in this match is going to get repetitive, because you have to do it lots of times. If you'd have had 10 people, and you'd have had it so it was like a proper handicap match, so they would have had to like tag out, so it's only one person that's legal at a time, and Wardlow just comes in, beats one person, who's next, beats another person, who's next, beats another person, and he wins not just with power bombs, but he wins with, power slams and does a bunch of other moves, and you can see, oh my god, Wardlow has these other moves that he can do that isn't just power bombs. It totally could have worked. I think the pacing was way off for this one, because it was just stuff happened, here's these bodies, and he wins. And it was, like, the rules were confusing, the people that were legal were confusing, like, the legality of the pins was confusing. It was all just like, people were like, oh, okay. And the crowd didn't really have a chance to breathe between any of the moves or actually take in what was happening. Whereas I think if he'd have played it up and, you saw the security guards being like, oh, I don't want to get in, he's too scary kind of thing, and played up like the comedic aspect. I know it's still not good because Wardlow's doing comedy, but if that's what you're going for, do the comedy right. And you have to play up the security guards being like, oh, I don't want to face him, and, do like a punch to him, and he no-sells it for a second and looks back at him and smiles, then hits a powerbomb. It's fairly simple stuff, but it's stuff that would have made this much more palatable, I think.
I like the handicap idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't work. It was when you put it on like as a graphic, like, oh, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, exactly.
But the execution did not work, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, Wardlow got new entrance music. It's not as good as his old one, but it's okay.
Afterwards, Wardlow, Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky up in the skybox interrupted, and they said, we've got some of our UFC fighters down there, Tyrone Woodley and somebody else who is quite beaten up and couldn't really move. And they got in the ring. It looked like they were going to beat up Wardlow, and Wardlow said, hey, well, you're both St. Louis boys. I'm also
Midwestern, I think he said.
From nearby.
Nearby-ish, sort of.
We're working class men. Don't let anyone give you orders. And they're like, fair enough. They gave him Mark Sterling, and Wardlow powerbombed them. That was lame.
My last note on this segment was,
the whole, Wardlow's a monster, and the whole, it makes sense with his character because he overcame this dickish rich kid telling him to do stuff. But the Wardlow as a working class hero isn't why I like him. Wardlow as a monster who destroys people is why I like him.
Yes.
So when he starts to say, sing Bruce Springsteen songs, it takes me out of it.
Yeah. Yep, agree. It's a shame because I love Wardlow. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But this isn't working.
But what worked was right up next?
So before I watched the show, I didn't know that this match was on this show.
Oh, really?
And I saw a little graphic in the corner being Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay. I was like, excuse me? I'm into that.
Brilliant.
So
Absolutely brilliant. My match of the night, even though, the ladder match, I guess, is a better match, but good grief. This felt like a G1 match. It felt like a New Japan fighting spirit style match, particularly near the end when they're both raising and they're doing the strikes. But the story, everything sung here. The wrestling, the characters, the styles. But for me, Dax went up to the top rope to do a flying headbutt.
Yes.
Which is not a move anyone should really do, but
no.
Whatever. And Excalibur says the last time a member of FTR went to the top rope was Cash Wheeler, and that led to them losing the tag team titles.
Yep.
And fists, no flips.
I
mean, didn't do a flip; he just leapt off
the top rope. But still, what brilliant storytelling! I personally would have had that led into the finish, but that's just me. I'd have had that spot come a little bit later in the match and have that immediately go to the finish.
There's an argument that was the moment where he lost control of the match.
Yes,
but yeah, it wasn't very overt. Yeah.
Yes, but still though, that aspect of the story is absolutely brilliant. These two are so good, and there is a spot that no one will talk about afterwards, but that I loved, which is when Dax goes for a hip toss and Will Ospreay counters it into an abdominal stretch. Like Dax doing hip tosses is like Dax's thing, right? So he automatically just goes for that, and he seamlessly just got straight into an abdominal stretch. So I was like, that's good, that's great, I love that. I don't know why I loved it so much. It was just so good. I love like the slingshot powerbomb sequence that Dax was doing it when he finally hit that slingshot powerbomb. I was like, oh yeah, massive pop for it. Dax kicking out of the Oz cutter. I was like, yes, Dax.
That bit was so New Japan for me, and the way Will composed himself afterwards, it wasn't a oh no, it was all right, next move,
fine,
and that's hidden blade. That's how he beat him. Very professional. Will, Dax is great, but I don't know Dax. Will, he's one of the best, like just technical, high flying wrestlers ever. But what people don't put over enough is how good he is at wrestling psychology and laying out matches. I've seen him backstage and in Frontline and the show we did, just talking to wrestlers, even when they're not his matches, and he's just like, if you do this hit here and you do that there, and I'm just like, he is thinking on another level. His wrestling brain might actually be the most valuable part of him. And I did so many bits in this match, I was like, good God, he's a genius.
Yeah. And I also just loved this complete like mesh of styles, because you'd think that, especially the Will of the past, Dax Harwood would probably take umbrage with the style of wrestling that Will especially used to do. So just that like psychological aspect, even though they never like referenced that or spoke about it or anything, just in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I bet Dax hates him. And it's like it's just like that little bit just added like an extra element in the match for me. It was great.
Dax being like the big Van Vader school and like, I bet Dax was watching Will Ospreay versus Ricochet from 2016 going like, these guys are killing the business.
Exactly.
Cash. Or I guess
Dash Wilder.
Yeah, Dash Wilder.
Yeah.
Was Cash's name.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
And Dax was Scott Dawson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, there was a post-match brawl. United Empire ran in to help Will Ospreay, best friends. After Cash ran down. And United Empire getting the better of it when Pixies, Where Is My Mind hits. Wonderful to hear. Orange Cassidy walks down. Awesome. He's getting a great pop. And I wanted the super kicks. I was like, come on, do it to Will.
Yep.
But we didn't get that. Instead, Will just sort of did his.
Yeah.
I'm gonna anime look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna look at you like Big E watches monitors. So
out the corner of your eye.
Like, he's so good at those shots. But this shot.
That's great.
But we didn't get it because they later announced that we're getting Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States title at Forbidden Door. Thoughts?
It will be a really fun match.
Yes.
Both these guys are fantastic, and I think it's gonna. They will have the crowd in the palm of their hands. They are gonna work that crowd so hard in that match, and I'm sure it's gonna be a great time. It's not what I would have done with Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door.
It's not what I even would have done with Cassidy.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Because last week when Will Ospreay debuted in AEW, I was very down on it because I was like, I don't think he should be in a 6-man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should have a big singles feud. And now they've given me the big singles feud. Orange Cassidy's a huge star, ratings mover.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't want that either.
What do you want, Ollie? Who would you have booked Ospreay against?
I tell you what I want. He's tied up later on in the show, but Orange Cassidy versus Minoru Suzuki is...
Oh, that's delightful.
I think Forbidden Door should be what are the best possible dream matches you can do.
Yeah.
But what's happening is, what's the best 6-man we can do to sort of tie in with this story we're doing?
Yeah.
Which is a tactic, it's not a terrible way. One of the bad things about Survivor Series is how all stories stop for a month and then you resume them afterwards. So at least this way you can continue telling your own promotion stories. But I'm looking up and down the card and I'm not getting those dream matches I wanted.
And I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility to have, because this comes right off the back of Double or Nothing, you could have a lot of feuds stop at Double or Nothing, have fresh feuds with the New Japan guys going into Forbidden Door.
Just for a month.
And then have the new AEW feuds coming out afterwards. So it's not like you're, castrating all the AEW feuds just to have New Japan ones. It was a fresh start that they chose to have some AEW feuds continue afterwards, which was all a bit messy. But even so, I still think it's worth doing, even if you have AEW stories, it's worth having New Japan stories running alongside them to have for Forbidden Door. Because this, to me, Forbidden Door should be like a one-night stand type event where you just have, here are our big matches. Aren't these two promotions amazing? Let's have some dream matches and have some fun. And that's what I thought it was going to be, but I guess it's not really.
It's definitely more involved than that, which leading up to it, I would have been really excited by. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But now I'm experiencing it in practice. I'm like, oh, actually, I just wanted the dream matches.
Yeah. And which I feel like one of them is Moxley versus Tanahashi. I would say that is legitimately a dream match that they have been building for like 3 years. And it's something they've wanted to do for a long time. That's cool. That is a legitimate dream match. The other stuff that's been announced so far, I'm like, Like, it's good, and I'm sure it'll be really fun, but it's not what I would have booked.
Totally. Well, speaking of, the next big development was Moxley and Tanahashi having a face-to-face. Before that, we got a video recap putting over Tanahashi. Very good touch. That's what has been missing a lot from these feuds. With Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly was a talking head.
So I saw him appear, and I was like, Ollie will love that.
I did. He's my favorite commentator of all time, and he's incredible. So yeah, Forbidden Door, I'm happy boy now. Mox and Tanahashi had a great promo. Tanahashi didn't say anything apart from "I'm Ace," I think, at the end.
No, he didn't say anything. He told Jericho
to
shut up.
Yeah. Classic. We don't want the Japanese guy to talk, but fair enough. If it's difficult to do a promo,
I'll let you finish the segment first, and then
I'll run through everything. Moxley got a great promo, not saying how he's chased Tanahashi around the world, and he put over how, you're great, but I'm better. Really excellent stuff. But then Jericho interrupts just as Tanahashi was about to speak and says, the only reason you're there in that position, Mox, was because I wasn't around last week, which just sort of opens up, well, why weren't you there last week?
Why weren't you there last week,
then? The Battle Royal should have been your number one priority. And he introduced new JAS members, Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti, and Suzuki-gun members, Lance Archer and Desperado ran in the ring and beat down Mox and Tanahashi because there will be a Forbidden Door 6-man tag of Jericho, Sammy, and Minoru Suzuki versus Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. And then Moxley and Tanahashi stood tall. So a split segment in that they tried to build 2 matches at the same time.
Okay. Moxie's promo was fantastic. Loved it. Saying that you'll call the ace, but after Forbidden Door, you'll call me ace. I was like, yes, big fan. I personally would have had Tanahashi say one line at the end and just be like, time to shut up or whatever. Call him a bitch. It always works. I don't know. Something like that. Just have one line. If you don't want him to talk too much, if he's not the strongest promo in English, makes total sense. Just have him say one line, end that segment. Sick. Moxie Tanahashi, can't wait. Had that face-to-face. It's built that match more. I'm way more excited for it now than I was before. I wouldn't have had any of this JAS stuff here. You didn't need it in this segment. I felt it got way too muddied because we've got JAS coming out and we've got new members. And here's Suzuki-gun. By the way, there's a trios match at Forbidden Door. It's like, what are we building here? Like, focus on one thing at a time because all of this felt like it needed its own announcement. Also, you didn't need to announce that Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti were in. We got that from earlier. I know he's part of JAS now. You didn't need to tell us that. We watched it earlier. And like the trios match, I'm sure it'll be fun. But okay, I'm glad Suzuki's on it against Yuta, Shota Umino, and Kingston. Okay, I guess this just feels like it's more AEW versus AEW, and also New Japan's there in this match rather than AEW versus New Japan. I think you mentioned that point before. I don't want to see AEW versus AEW at Forbidden Door. That's not the point. It's AEW versus New Japan. That should be the point of the show, but it's not that.
As the way to continue the feuds, they're linking up the heels across the companies to take on the faces across the companies, which works sometimes if you've got a killer lineup. And you look at those names on paper: Jericho, Suzuki, Kingston. But I also look at those names. I'm like, just give me Suzuki, Kingston,
right?
I mean, just give me Suzuki. Most people, I think.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But Suzuki versus Kingston would be amazing. Everything just felt really muddied in this segment. It's like I just wanted to focus on Moxie Tanahashi because at the end of Moxie's promo, I was like, man, I'm really excited for this match. This has really helped build my excitement for it. Jericho came out, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of done with Jericho. So seeing him for the second time on the show, I was like, for God's sake, go away!
He's a wizard. We got the Toni Storm interview backstage, building her stuff later. I think it was pre-recorded because they had clips to play over.
Yeah.
Ethan Page took on Miro. Miro was just an all-out babyface.
Yeah. I thought this was an odd matchup because I was like, okay, I guess I'm here for Miro babyface. I thought he was a heel though, based on his comeback promo and being like, I'm going to go after the punks and the hangmen, the cowboys and all that stuff. I was like, so he's still definitely a heel, right?
He's a tweener.
I guess so, yeah.
But he was babyface here. He was awesome. Ethan Page was beaten very decisively.
Yeah.
This wasn't the
good
sort
match,
of
though.
Yeah, good match. Nowhere near as good as the Pac Buddy Matthews match last week, but it was an All Atlantic qualifier match. So Miro is in that 4-way.
Cool.
Oh my God, Pac Miro. Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be Malachi. Because it's
Penta.
Malachi versus Penta, so
Yeah.
Malachi win that one, and a New Japan guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. Dante Martin cut a promo on Moxley. He's going to have a match on Friday.
I believe you also missed there was a Darby Allin promo.
Oh,
but I'm not sure why they're still feuding because
it was on Bobby
Riley
Fish.
won.
They've got a match on Friday against Bobby Fish.
But like, Kyle O'Reilly won clean. So what are you still fighting for?
Britt Baker then took on Toni Storm. This was kind of a number 1 contenders match.
Without saying so.
But
yes.
for Thunder Rosa's title.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa actually came down early and chased off Jamie Hayter, taking out that advantage. Went 10 minutes, was fine.
Yeah.
For me, it never found that extra gear. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but after quite a few months of being like, Britt wins too much, and she wins via cheating too much. Here she was beaten clean, putting over Tony, and I'm like, why doesn't that feel special? But it didn't, right?
Not really.
Like, this should be huge.
Yeah. And maybe it was huge, but I didn't feel it necessarily. I felt a little bit odd. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the finish wasn't properly built to that I don't know if that's true either, because it felt like Baker was like, she had a spots where she was playing possum and nearly got the like roll-up victories. They had a couple of back and forths, and then Storm hit her finisher and then won. So it was properly built to, I guess, but just, I don't know, something was missing.
Stokely Hathaway was backstage building up the open challenge for Jade Cargill on Friday. Willow Nightingale answered it. She's so charismatic.
I love Willow Nightingale.
Yeah,
she's the
really
best. Give me more Willow Nightingale,
Yeah.
please. She's so good.
She's really, really charismatic.
Yeah.
And then the final bit we'll talk about, because we've already covered the main event, Hangman Page comes out. He's a sad cowboy this week because he wanted to face Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, but Jay White won that title. So Adam Cole comes out and he's like, well, I'm going to face Jay White because it's all in the Bullet Club, baby. Jay White's music plays, but he attacks Page from behind, cuts a great promo on Hangman Page, sort of squatting down.
Jay White cutting great promos. Who'd have thunk it?
He's so good.
He's great.
But then he said, like, oh, yeah, but I'm not facing you and I'm not facing Adam Cole either.
Yep.
See you later.
Whoops. Yeah, Adam Cole's facial reaction to this I thought was great, because he was proper yucking it up, and you could see this turn coming a mile away, because Adam Cole, when he was saying to Hangman, he was like, you're lost against CM Punk, and there's no way I'm going to face you, you're the worst, and all that stuff. Adam Cole yucking it up, so to be like, yeah, you tell him, Jay, you're my best friend. And then Jay goes, I'm not going to face you either, and Cody goes, proper like face drops, he's like, but I don't understand properly, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was really funny. Yeah, and he said, I hold the prize, I call the shots. Who's he going to be facing then?
So, yeah, probably it's going to be Adam Cole, Hangman Page, and him. Right?
Probably.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If that's what happens, it's probably the least interesting version of this. You know, when we're thinking dream matches, I wouldn't, again, not something I would have booked. This is a big question mark, and we've only got one more show before the pay-per-view.
Not including Rampage.
Not including Rampage, sorry. I always forget. Just Dynamite. So, this popped into my head, and it was brought up by a chat earlier. What if Kenny Omega just returns on Wednesday? And it's just like, yep, Kenny Omega's back. Or look, Jay White comes out and he says, I've decided who my opponent's going to be. Kenny Omega. And he's yucking it up. And then the music plays. Ha ha, there's nobody there. Plays again. He is there. He walks out. Boom. That's how Kenny comes back.
Like, okay.
Can I put some more defenses?
Please go.
You've got the history of Jay White and Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah.
White kicked Omega out of the Bullet Club. Huge stuff there. You've got the idea that Kenny replaced Hangman Page in this match again. The stuff with Adam Cole as well. That's also playing into it here. And frickin' just have Kenny Omega then beat Jay White to become the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Have Tanahashi win the AEW World Championship. And I don't know what happens after that. But like, this is what I'm talking about. Something has happened with CM Punk being injured, which has thrown everything up in the air. Do you want these pieces to fall down in the most predictable manner possible? Or do you do what AEW is very good at and just going, I built a tower. Look how good this tower is.
I love all of it, and I would love to see Omega come back, because I think there's so much storyline potential with all of that. I mean, he won't, though, because he's really injured.
He was really injured.
And apparently still is.
What? Since when?
Like a few weeks ago, someone said, like, he's just gone in for a fresh surgery kind of thing.
Oh, it's a work, brother.
So, like, he won't be there. Or if he's there, he'll make an appearance to be like, hey, New Japan, I used to be really important over here. But, like, he won't have a match. Hey, look, if he comes back next week, play this clip back and say, you're an idiot, Pete. And I'll be like, hey, I'm an idiot. But
it's out there. According
to reports and stuff, he's still very, very injured and not good to come back yet.
Yes. Well, it is an out there idea.
I'd love to see it.
Possibly even not possible.
Yeah.
But I think this is a show that needs a massive hook. And as WWE have shown...
Where's Hook? Put him on the show.
As WWE have shown, if you just do something big on the Go Home episode, that's enough to get buys.
Yeah.
You have all that momentum coming off of Wednesday. The show's on Sunday. Kenny's back in the company. Yeah. Punk's out.
And I think the storyline potential for post Forbidden Door is totally there with all the stuff that we wanted to see with Kenny and the Bucks and Adam Cole. It's totally there already with Adam Cole being like, "You took my spot, man. What's up with that? What I was going to face Jay White. Why did you come and face him instead?"
Well, that's. I thought this could have been one of the best. Like in this episode is almost a show of the year quality. But there were just too many misfires for me. There's a lot of stuff thrown at the wall. I think this is like, if you look at this objectively, it's hot shot booking, a hair versus hair match out of nowhere, the Wardlow stuff, just chucking random New Japan wrestlers into feuds. This is hot shot booking. A lot of stuff did not stick, but the stuff that did stick was incredible, and the wrestling is sublime. Yes. So I gave it I think an 88%.
4 out of 5 for me. Really good show, but not quite 5 out of 5 standard, just because a couple of things let it down.
Well, before we get into the rest of your thoughts, remember WrestleTalk.com/support. Get them in. Let's say thank you to our wonderful $25 a month or more Pledgehammers on Patreon.
I have Hall of Fame music. I did it. I'm not used to this.
Who wants to walk with Daniel Elias Chrysler?
Might have to change that to Ezekiel Chrysler. Daniel Potus Lee.
David Ain't No Shrimp Camilleri.
Oh, that's good. Like calamari, but not. The Findicator, Finn Brennan.
Always shining, Garrett Albright.
General Jimmy G.
Hannah A. Baby.
Geordie Bus Driver Harry.
The Overstepper, James Napper.
Murderous James Murtaugh.
WrestleTalk's personal problem solver, Jamie Donovan.
And finally, for this Hall of Fame class for the 16th of June 2022, Viernes el 13º, Jason Gutierrez.
Oh, very
Delightful.
Good.
I know.
Very good pronunciation.
It's like I studied Spanish.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please do go over to Patreon to check us out there. There's loads of exclusive content, and it's the best way to help support the channel. Right, the rest of your chats. Tem Ruzza says, 2022 just doesn't want to calm down, does it? It is insane to see what WWE will look like at the end of the year. The next couple of months are going to be huge. Sasha to Hollywood and a potential Saraya versus Mercedes match in AEW is wild. New Japan is strong again. Paige versus Sasha Banks in AEW.
That's wild, isn't it? Also, lest we forget, Cody Rhodes left AEW this year. So much that's happened.
Jared McCulloch. Hey guys, just wanted to point out that the reason that Ospreay didn't have the US title was because New Japan still haven't got the belt back from Juice Robinson, I believe. Maybe you thought no one will notice. The British flag is similar.
Yes.
William Rosmer, what was the point of Sammy dressing up like Fuego? I never thought it was anyone but Sammy under the mask. Oh, well, we were worked.
It fooled me.
Elsewhere, Ospreay made Dax look like $1 million, and they finally pulled the trigger on Christian's heel turn. Great episode of Dynamite.
You see Fuego del Sol's tweet about it. He was like, "You tell Sammy to do your dry cleaning for you one time."
I don't think Ospreay made Dax look like $1 million. I think Dax was just as much a part of that equation as Ospreay.
Agreed.
Jack Lloyd. I said this a while ago that I was sick to death of Sammy. It's now even worse. I love the JAS. They're hilarious. But for me, Sammy is X-Pac in DX with his go-away heat. Apart from that, love the show. Ortiz shouting blood and guts was awesome. Jam that jam.
Didn't even mention Ortiz shaved his own head.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge part.
Good. He should.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I love that Kingston was like, he's a man of his word. He's going to do it. And then he just shouted blood and guts a lot of times at Jericho.
Ten Ruzza. Guys, go long today. So much to talk about. AEW, we don't have the energy levels to.
Really don't.
AEW, again, was a lot of fun, and Jay White is insanely good. Pete, you need to watch Dominion to know why Ospreay didn't have the title. It's still with Juice. Love Jay's promo this past weekend, and love Mox Tanner.
Well, serves me right for not watching Dominion.
Riot DR. When I saw Fuego attack Ortiz, I was confused, but I made sense of it. A new start for him. Then I noticed his teeth. Sammy has shiny teeth that Roman Reigns has to respect. Sammy and Tay are a perfect fit for JAS. P.S. meant to say an OC return.
What did he say before?
Orange Cassidy return. OC, like the club?
Like Orange Cassidy?
Like AJ... Anderson and Gallows?
I don't know.
Doesn't change the meaning if it's still Orange Cassidy.
No, really doesn't.
Riot DR, a great story has a beginning, middle, and end. In wrestling, the story's epilogue is the beginning of a new story. This Wardlow spin-off is bad. It's like a bottle episode, a filler comic book issue. I got Kevin Nash in late WCW vibes. Remember that? When the ref was counting 3 for guys not being pinned.
Yeah.
Alex Witherden. The IWGP Heavyweight title match should be a fatal 4-way with White, Cole, Page, and Okada. Bullet Club versus The Elite versus AEW versus New Japan. Plus, it should be Young Bucks versus Dangerous Tekkers.
That's fun.
So Okada, apparently, they said Okada's not going to be on the show.
Why?
Okada's wife is scheduled to give birth around that weekend.
Probably why, then. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That's a massive shame if that's the case.
Yeah.
Not for them. I'm sure that's great for them. I really need to rephrase that. What a shame she's giving birth.
Sorry, guys.
It's a shame for the show because you'd think one of the biggest name you could put on the Forbidden Door show would be Okada. He's like the big New Japan guy. So
JS Wooten. Punk, like Cody, is formatted poorly. Tony Khan needs to figure out how to do this show without turning some talents into speed bumps. Wardlow needs Cesaro to reset his PWR level.
His power
level, because his power scaling is broken right now. Top beard and hair and AEW feeling right. I think he had Punk's segments down perfectly. I think loads of people look better wrestling Punk.
I agree.
Falling Downer. Dax Harwood, man. That guy is untouchable right now. Match after match, he knocks it out of the park. Love last night's show, but I'm a little confused about the Blood and Guts match contestants. Who is locked in for Team Jericho and who's locked in for Team Eddie?
We don't know.
Mox, Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz are locked in.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because Moxley said it, I'm in Blood and Guts. Kingston made the match. Ortiz said Blood and Guts, which I assume also means Santana.
No. You're assuming. No. We don't know that, though, do we?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll hot tag to you.
Sure. Where are we at? My things probably haven't updated, but that's fine. Monty Granito said Cassidy and Ospreay were both on the last Jericho cruise. They probably got to know each other there. Ospreay was the king of the cruise, mixing and drinking all day with all of us normies. You guys should do the cruise. Thanks, guys.
Would love to. Very difficult logistically to pull off.
Yes. Firebat Miv said, did you two miss how good the sell for the hip attack was? This is probably why there needs to be a Tempest or a Luke in there to offset the Cornette-Bischoff duo here.
Ouch.
Also, yes, it was a very good sell. That's how Baker was playing possum in the thing. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin says, oh yeah, you're right, Wardlow's match or segment or whatever was the messiest part of the show. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that whole Sterling feud was totally unnecessary. It should have directly been Wardlow versus Sky instead.
Yeah, go straight into the TNT title picture.
I agree. Noah Fortner said, I'm not sure how many other people had this problem, but my TBS feed cut out during the main event, and I kind of just gave up trying to fix it because AEW hasn't been exciting me on this build to Forbidden Door. I'm not excited for the card like I thought I would be. I'm kind of in that boat. I am so looking forward to the show. I think it's going to be fun regardless, but I am a bit like, oh, okay, it's still good, rather than, wow, can't wait for this show. Robert Waters said, I pitched it before and I'd like to pitch it with what Ollie said. Jay White challenges Omega at Forbidden Door. Battle cry hits. Nothing. Laughs ensue. Devil Sky hits. Out comes Omega. That's good.
Please bring back that music.
Devil Sky for that would be really good. Yeah.
That's excellent.
That's a really good shout. I'm just going to try and refresh my thing.
Just press the refresh button at the top.
There's a refresh button.
I only found this out recently.
Well, that is important. Do you want to take the rest or?
Hannah Allen. Heyo, lovely lads. It was my birthday this 14th. To celebrate, I've decided to contribute some Australian dollars. Oh, God.
Can't believe that.
To the best premium YouTube content creators. My go-to source for up-to-date wrestling news. The same guys who make No Rolls Barred and partsFUNknown, lovers of Australian dollars.
I love him.
WrestleTalk, jam that jam.
I love him.
Thank you for your kind words, Hannah, but I spit on your money. It's no good. Firebat Miv. So, what do you want to talk about, Cody?
Yeah, let's talk about Cody. Big news about
story.
Cody recently, yeah.
Zach Robinson, Memberg for 14 months in a row. But I think it tells the Membergs 1 month less because he says 13 months, baby. What are you guys most excited about for Forbidden Door? Who do you think the Bucks face on the pay-per-view for the tag straps?
Toru Yano and I don't know. I'm making names up.
Yeah, it'll be someone you like. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it'll be fun. Yeah.
Goto and yeah. What am I most excited about? I guess
Lance Archer and Desperado. They were on this show.
Sure. I guess Mox and Tanahashi, but probably Ospreay Cassidy, to be honest, just to see what happens.
Yeah. I think I'm more looking forward to Ospreay Cassidy from like a spectacle perspective, because I think it's going to be just a bunch of like fun. Whereas in terms of like, I can't wait to see this match, it's probably going to be Moxley Tanahashi.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get a new AEW World Champion out of
Interim.
Abel Palacio, Memberg, thank you very much. We are Luca. Was at Dynamite last night. Going to St. Louis Anarchy Wrestling Dingo Invitational Tournament.
That's
this
a
Friday.
lot of words.
And Saturday. Love wrestling. Love you guys and Pete too.
What? Hold up. Love you guys and Pete too.
Or maybe,
am I not included in the guys?
Maybe it's like me and Luke usually, and you. We'll be sending a gift. A wrestling gift to you and No Rolls Barred very soon. Love, hugs, and clotheslines.
Thank you,
Luca. Firebat Miv again. Is Pete's new gimmick the British Jim Cornette?
Hey, did you hear me talking about the main event? Of how much I loved all the flips and dives and all the spots they did?
Yeah.
Like the opposite of Jim Cornette. Insane.
Let me just... Okay. Charles Berg, I'm not going to read that out just because it's a bit, sort of angry.
Inflammatory.
At current news stories. But yes, if you want a refund, we don't usually do refunds.
We can do it.
Yeah, ask the moderating team and
we'll figure it out.
Tell you a way to get in touch. Blakely, hear me out. It's a tag match. Adam Cole and Jay White versus Adam Page and Okada.
Yep.
That would be an amazing match in my opinion.
That might be what happens.
Yeah.
If Okada's there.
I don't want to see a pay-per-view full of tags and 6 men just to avoid the wrong guy getting pinned for either promotion.
Yeah.
Nate S., conspiracy theory time. Cody leaked the stuff to the Wall Street Journal and has been undercover the whole time. Pec injury was even faked, and he's facing Jay White. The timeline adds up. Completely joking, of course. Keep on jamming.
That would be hilarious.
I love the idea of the mole in the company.
Oh, that's so funny.
And Sadie Deeganhausen, good afternoon, beautiful boys. Love the Dynamite last night. 10 out of 10 main event.
Agreed.
My boys are champions. Love the Mox and Tanner face-off till Jericho interrupting put me through the 7 stages of grief, as a wise man once said.
Hate that.
Still excited, though. Heart emoji things. Well, thank you very much for all of your chat and for joining us here today. Hardly any Vince messages.
Yeah, crazy.
Which is quite nice, to be frank,
Yeah.
because we've spoken so much already about them.
And also, about 2 minutes ago, maybe 3 minutes ago, another news video went live. We already had one go live earlier today talking about this whole Vince McMahon stuff. And then we got another one talking about Sasha Banks and also Vince McMahon and Ollie's 5-minute review of AEW Dynamite. If you just couldn't get enough of this review of AEW Dynamite, need 5 minutes more, go check out that one as well.
Bit all over the place schedule-wise today.
A little bit.
Apologies.
It's been crazy. Am I doing the outro? Do you do the outro? Who does this? Thanks for watching. We've got more content coming soon. Just subscribe, like the video, watch another podcast. That's good for the algorithm.
And just go straight over to the WrestleTalk News channel now and watch.
But also open another tab and watch one from this channel because that's good for the algorithm too. Do lots of things. YouTube, bye. Where's the outro?
Jam,
bye.
jam.
Jam.